Good morning, everybody. This is Michael Dermer from The Lonely Entrepreneur, and thank you so much for joining us for our Entrepreneur Survival Guide fireside chat. For those of you who aren't aware, every Friday at noon Eastern Standard Time, we gather together to try to do the best we can to help everybody through this most difficult time. You know, first and foremost, we'd like to wish everybody be healthy, be safe, and hope your families are safe under these, difficult circumstances. Secondly, just a matter of housekeeping. As you know, we here at The Lonely Entrepreneur are trying to help as many entrepreneurs as we can. And so as part of that, we've launched what I mentioned before, the Entrepreneur Survival Guide, which you see on the top right of your screen. This is a 100% set of free resources that becomes part of the Lonely Entrepreneur learning community, includes everything from a downloadable PDF to lessons and the like. And that can be found at this web address you see on the top right of your screen, lonelyentrepreneur.com/survival guide. Now today we're going to focus exclusively on cash and specifically on some of the SBA and government programs that have come out. But I also wanted to make sure that everybody really was able to take advantage of everything that's available in this free Entrepreneur Survival Guide. So really quickly, we're going to hop over to that and talk to you a little bit about what's available. The Entrepreneur Survival Guide is something that sits on top of the Lonely Entrepreneur learning community. When you go to the page that I mentioned, it'll take you to this simple little screen, and you simply go in, use the code TLEHELP when you check in, and everything will be free. When you access that, you will get access to the Lonely Entrepreneur learning community, which you see in front of you. That not only includes the Entrepreneur Survival Guide, but also all the other tools that an individual gets in the Lonely Entrepreneur learning community. Remember, this learning community normally costs $500 a year, and we're giving it away for free during this difficult time. And so you'll see not only the survival guide, but everything from generating revenue, how to differentiate, raising money, marketing, communication, legal, all given free. And then in addition, if you go into the survival guide, you will see a whole bunch of sets of tools and resources of what we hope are insights that can really help everybody. So everything from acknowledging how you feel, your foundation to success, which includes building a plan, how to be resilient, and then what we're going to talk about today, which is cash, right? First of all, how to conserve and manage your cash and take advantage of a lot of the programs out there, but also to impact all the new sources of cash. To access all the new sources of cash, which include the SBA Paycheck Protection Program, the EIDL Advance Program, and a whole bunch of other tools and techniques like using your home and 0% interest rates to raise money. So I'm going to stop right there with respect to those resources, and also really just wanted to, for a second, say hello to everybody. I know this is an incredibly difficult time, and we're all in this together. But I can tell you, and as many of you know from our experience in 2008, where the company we built over 10 years nearly got destroyed overnight, our revenue got cut in half almost instantly by the 2008 financial crisis. The specific steps we took at times like now were the difference between success and failure. And we were fortunate enough to come out the other end, and obviously to sell our company and all that fun stuff. But I can tell you that the specific steps that you take now will make a difference, okay? So without further ado, I'm gonna transition back to what we're here for today, which is to go through some of the programs that are available through, especially the SBA, okay? Everything that I'm showing you, I'm gonna share, this is at this particular website, which we'll pass along to everybody. And this is SBA doing a really nice job of explaining the different options, okay? And I'm going to go through all four of these options today, as well as the larger, what they call economic injury disaster loan program. Okay, so right now, probably the quickest thing that you can take advantage of is the EIDL Loan Advance Program. This is a program designed specifically to get a $10,000 very, very quick advance. And we're going to walk you through the application process for that program. The Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program is actually a $350 billion program where longer term loans are being made. Those are loans up to $10 million but they require a very extensive application process, income statements, balance sheets, personal financial statements, at very low interest rates. So these loans are very much worth applying to, but they're going to take some time, and there is some underwriting criteria, whereas this is a smaller part of the EIDL program, specifically to get a loan advance, okay? Next, we're going to go through the Paycheck Protection Program. This program is something that launched on Friday, April 3rd, and essentially is the following. You can get 250% of your average 2019 payroll as a loan, okay? That payroll can include not just W-2 employees, but also 1099 employees. And so let's say, for argument's sake, your payroll was an average of $50,000 a month. You can get 2.5 times that, or $125,000, okay? You get that in a 2-year loan at 1% interest rate, but here's the rub. If you use that loan to pay salaries or to pay certain other things, a little bit of mortgage interest, a little bit of rent, utilities, that loan turns into a grant that becomes completely forgiven, right? 75% of it has to use to pay salaries, but you can use the other 25% to pay other things, okay? The SBA debt relief program, if you're a current holder on SBA loan, the SBA is giving you 6 months of deferred payments where you don't have to pay. And there's also a smaller program for $25,000 bridge loans along the way. So let's get into these. So let's go first and foremost, the EIDL loan advance program. This particular program is literally a quick advance of $10,000. There's certain criteria, but when you go into this and you see the application process, it's an incredibly simple little process that we're going to walk you through. Okay, this is your application. You have to certify one of these, okay? And that is, you don't have more than 500 employees, okay? This also applies to nonprofits. Basically, you're verifying here that you're a small business, okay, as the SBA defines it. So let's say we're a business with less than 500 employees, and now you have to check all of the following, right? You're not engaged in legal activity, right? You're not delinquent on child support. You're not an agricultural enterprise because there's other programs for them. You don't have a third of your gross income from gambling, sexual activities. You're not in the business of lobbying, right? And you can't be a member of Congress, okay? And then you hit continue. And then you give your basic business information. I'm just going to put junk in here. Good thing about this is that if you go to do this and something's wrong, it will stop you, right? So your trade name, your employee identification number, you got to put it in the right format. Okay, the type of organization you are, an LLC, C Corp, if you're a nonprofit, if you're a franchise. And these are the two most meaty things here, the gross revenue and your cost of goods sold. So this is your total revenue for a year. So let's put some fake numbers in here. And your cost of goods sold, you should be able to get this off your QuickBooks, your accounting package, or talk to your accountant, or get your tax returns from last year. So let's throw a number in there. Certain other specific things, if you lost rent for rental properties, if you're a nonprofit, the cost of operation, if you happen to be a faith-based entity, and if you're a faith-based entity, then describe that here. Whether you're getting compensation from other sources of relief as a result of this disaster. Don't worry about too much of these. Lost rent due to disaster is really something very, very specific to renter businesses. And then your primary business address. I'll go through this quickly. Okay, business email, right? The date business was established. Current ownership, right? When the current ownership was in place. And your business activity, you can choose from a list here. Let's say it's automotive repair, and this next drop down will automatically generate, and the number of employees you have. Okay, go to next. And this is the individual owners, right? So anybody that owns more than 20% has to fill this out. Also, there's a question here, is your business owned by an entity as opposed to owned by individuals? And then you put in every owner, right? your title, if you have one, your ownership percentage, your email, right, your social security number, okay, your birth date, your place of birth, whether you're a citizen, and then your residential street address. Okay, if there's anybody else that owns additional 20%, you click here. If not, you go to next. And literally, you're almost done. This is, have you been convicted? Have you been debarred from doing work with the federal government? Are you subject to indictment or a criminal offense? And then if anybody assisted you in completing this application, if the answer is no, then you don't have to fill any of this out. You click, I'd like to be considered. And what's interesting is they actually have you put in your bank, your accounting number and your routing number, which means that they're teed up to wire this money directly to you. Okay, you click, you're certifying all these things to be true. And that's it. And that's really all that it takes to be part of this program. Remember, this is really just meant to be a quick and dirty $10,000 loan, or $10,000 advance rather, as part of your program. What I can tell you is that you can apply for this loan even if you don't ultimately apply for the larger SBA EIDL loans that I mentioned before. Okay, so pretty simple, pretty straightforward. I know there's some confusion about EIDL and EIDL Advance. EIDL is the bigger program, and the EIDL Advance program is simply this $10,000 program. Okay, so let's go on to the second program, which launched on April 3rd. This is the Paycheck Protection Program. One of the biggest differences, there's lots of differences with the Paycheck Protection Program, is the fact that the EIDL Loan Advance program, you can apply right online. The Paycheck Protection Program, you actually have to apply through a bank. Okay, so pretty basic information. Again, anybody who has under 500 employees, okay, and here's the way that it works. You can get 250%, okay, of your annual 2019 salary, okay, or payroll, I should say, and that payroll includes 1099 employees. Okay, if this talks about loan forgiveness, the loan will be fully forgiven if the funds are used for payroll, interest on mortgages, rent, and utilities, and 75% of the amount is used for payroll. Okay, loans will be deferred for 6 months, and no collateral or personal guarantees are involved. Okay, and the form is pretty simple, which you can get right here on this page, okay, which we're going to hop over to right now. Sorry. This is your Paycheck Protection Program borrower application form. Very, very simple, okay? You check what kind of entity you are, make it a little bigger, your legal name, your business address, your employee identification number, your business phone, who the primary contact and email is. And this is where you put in your average monthly payroll, okay? And this is multiplying by 2.5 times, okay? And if you're getting an EIDL advance, like that $10,000 advance, and you're trying to refinance that as part of this, like roll that into this, you can add that to this, okay? You fill out the number of employees, you check the purpose of the loan. You know, as I mentioned, 75% of the loan has to go to payroll. We suspect that number actually might go up because the real purpose of this program is to really preserve jobs. So it could be likely, especially if the funding starts to run out, that they're going to require this to be paid almost exclusively for payroll. So in my opinion, unless you have a very, very specific need, I would check payroll for this, okay? List 20% or more owners of 20% or more of your company, okay? And then you have to certify a couple things. Again, you're not disbarred from doing work with the federal government, okay? If you ever had any kind of delinquent SBA loan, if you own any other businesses, so a lot of us do, so you have to check yes and put a small addendum of list. And if you've ever received one of those EIDL loans, which includes the EIDL advance, okay? Simple little things here, subject to criminal indictment. No, but one thing to keep in mind here, you have to initial this. You have to initial any one of these in addition to checking yes or no, okay? Pleaded guilty, is the principal place of residence included, I'm sorry, the United States for everybody that's included in your payroll calculation, or your franchise, okay? And then you certify a whole bunch of things that this is honest and correct. And remember, you have to initial all these, okay? The applicant was in operation, for whom it paid salaries. Current economic condition makes this necessary. The funds will be used to maintain workers and pay these other things. You're going to provide documentation. You're going to forgiveness. You know, not more than 25% can be used for non-payroll. You have not received another loan in the protection program. Everything's true. And right, you're going to acknowledge that all the information you're going to share is true. Again, you got to initial all these and then sign it. Okay, just to give you an idea, average monthly payroll, this excludes costs over $100,000. So for example, if you have an employee that made over $100,000, you can't include any amounts over that in your calculation. For seasonal businesses, it's not the average. They can say between, you know, February and June, again, excluding costs over 100. Things to keep in mind, payroll costs include what you'd expect: salary, wages, commissions, cash tips, vacation, medical, sick leave, and employee benefits, including healthcare coverage. Okay, so make sure to include those in your calculations. Okay, you have to submit this through your bank. A lot of banks are putting some other requirements on it, like Bank of America says you have to have both a business deposit account and a loan account with them. The good news is that a loan account, a credit card with that bank is also considered a loan account. So some banks are less stringent about that, but the first thing to do is take your primary bank and apply there. You should be able to apply online for a lot of banks. I know for Bank of America, it's an online application. If you have any problems, or certainly if you have a relationship with a banker, I would call them up and have them help you. There was something like 100,000 applications for, I think, $25 billion with Bank of America alone as of 3 or 4 in the afternoon on April 3rd. Okay, so, you know, you're talking about a couple of different programs that have, you know, a lot of benefit for everybody. And, you know, hopefully everybody can take advantage of this particular program. I wanted to go back to some of these other programs here, especially the SBA debt relief program. This is if you're an existing SBA debt holder. This is where the SBA will pay the principal for a period of 6 months for all these different types of loans that exist. Okay, so I know I went through that relatively quickly, but wanted to make sure people had the information that is out there. One thing to keep in mind is especially the Paycheck Protection Program is changing pretty quickly, and banks are kind of scrambling to get this in place. So I would very much, you know, encourage you to check back in with us. As I mentioned, this is stuff that's all available in our free survival guide. So for example, in some of the survival guide materials, we've got all these details, and they will be continually updated for everybody. There were a couple questions that came up that I'd like to specifically answer, especially about the EIDL program. If you have multiple entities, you of course can file for the $10,000 advance. Okay. In addition, for the Paycheck Protection Program, sorry, I'm clicking around a little bit. For the Paycheck Protection Program, this is something that also can be applied for by independent contractors. Okay, so if you're an independent contractor and you don't have an entity, you can apply for this. You see that you have independent contractor, self-employed individual, but the regulations and the process for independent contractors is not coming out until April 10th, right? So I encourage you that if you're an independent contractor, you wait until April 10th to get guidance from the SBA. Okay, so remember, a lot of these resources are available, very easy to find on the SBA website. If you just go to a couple of these web pages where you have, I'll quick back, you know, right on the top of the website here where it says coronavirus options, right? And you have the ability to tap into, right, a lot of the opportunities that exist, right, across this, right? If you click on that, it takes you right to the relief options, and down here, the page that I took you to. Okay, so obviously there's a lot of details to this program. And I hope this was something that was really valuable to everybody. Again, I want everybody to be able to take advantage of the free resources from The Lonely Entrepreneur. Simply visit lonelyentrepreneur.com/survival-guide. And again, it's 100% free to everybody. Feel free to forward it to friends and family. As part of that guide, everybody has access to this, what we call fireside chat, which is noon on every Friday, free and available to everybody. It's a Zoom call. And when you go into the survival guide, you'll see access to what the Zoom is, or certainly reach out to us at The Lonely Entrepreneur. Again, for everybody, please be safe, be healthy, take advantage of the free resources that we have. And certainly, as always, if there's any way we and the team at The Lonely Entrepreneur can help you, please do not hesitate to ask. So thank you very much, everybody, for your time and your patience today. And I hope everybody stays healthy and safe. Good luck with you and your businesses.